Okay, what I'm going to be doing today is linking adapters together. You might be asking, why would I want to link adapters? Well, there's several reasons for that, and several really good reasons. And once you have the basic kit, which is the hub and the sensor, and one of these, which then you would put your trap onto, or one that's supplied, depending which kit you buy. Once you have that, you can then increase by one adapter, or you can go into several adapters. Every time you add an adapter, you're saving the money of one sensor because you can put one sensor into all of the traps. And I've had up to 8 and 10 traps together. We recommend up to 5. Beyond that is you'll have to test it yourself to make sure that it works. But cases I've tested, it's been great. So yeah, once you've done that, you've got your choice of different traps that you can test. You've got your choice of different baits that you can test. So any combination of those. Once you've got your kit, you're just basically incrementing by the plastic adapter, and they're very good, and they will allow you to interconnect very easily. So you'll see in the linking video, we'll go through all the possibilities. So stick with me while we learn how to do it. In this case, I'm showing 3. I've got 3 traps, and I've got 3 caps on the adapters. You're always going to have the adapters facing one direction. So in this case, we've got trap, cap, trap, cap, trap, cap. What you're going to be doing is putting the sensor into the centralmost of the set that you have. Just a quick note, if you just landed here from Google or YouTube search or something, welcome, and a quick little context. This TrapEEzEE system turns one or more normal, plain old snap traps into a smart trap system, conveniently and economically, that can text now and email and alarm and notify, all without subscription fees, and even be expanded to join your alarm or automation system and the larger family of other useful YoLink products that allow you to better manage your property and your possessions. So if you have 5, you're going to put it in the middle. If you have 4, somewhere near the middle. So try and keep them as centered as possible. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you, I'm going to take this and remove it, and I've got 2 separate adapters here. What happens is there's an upper and a lower. So you're going to take the cap side, and whether it was this way, you could go this way, or the cap here is always going to go up and over, in and down onto. So you can see that I press it down, and then it becomes one unit. So what you're going to do, you can also take an M3 millimeter screw with a 2 millimeter hex head. I like the grab that it does on there. So I'll try and move that where you can see it. Okay, so that's a self-tapping screw, and you can just put it into there and then screw it down. Again, we're dealing with pretty tight tolerances, so you don't want to screw it super tight, just enough that it's going to hold in there. Okay, and then when you pull it out, you can put one in the other hole. There's 2 holes there. Again, don't tighten them too much, but they'll help hold it together. Another thing that you can do is, I will take this apart again. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to put some plumber's goop. And I've got it right here. What I use is just the amazing plumber's goop. It's a standard plumbing. You can get it at Home Depot and that sort of thing. You just take the cap off, apply a little bit to the bottom section. So this is the cap side, not that side. You're going to put a little bit on there, just a dab will do. Connect them together, and just leave it in that position for 2 hours. Don't move it. Don't try and get it apart. 2 hours is where it's connected nicely together. Once you have that, then you can freely move it about. I have actually done that with these 3 set of adapters, and you can see that they're very well connected together. So you have some options there as far as how you want to connect them. So I'll tip this up a little bit. Again, you can have your set of traps, whatever traps you want and whatever baits you want to put in the trap. So you have an assortment. You can use all the same traps with all different baits. Some mice like different baits and that sort of thing. Having the trap on the adapter, whether it's one adapter or multiple, gives it some stability, okay? So the trap actually won't flip around. The trap activate faster because it has more weight underneath it to hold it down. So you can see when you snap it, there's no movement. The trap just nicely snaps into place, which gives it a better chance of catching that mouse because it can be within milliseconds of whether that mouse gets away or not. So you can try different traps. There's many different ones. You want one that has a pretty good spring to it, okay? This is a Nest trap, Kness from the USA. And if I just let go there, you can really feel the snap. This is just the old standard one. It has a pretty good snap too. This is a Tomcat, and it really does do it, but it can be on the edgy side. So basically you want to make sure you have a half decent trap in there. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if you notice that the trap isn't alarming when you test it, and you should always test these, you may have to set the sensitivity, and I'll do a little section on the end that shows how to set that in the app. The sensitivity can be raised up or down. If you find that the trap, maybe there's just a wee little bit of movement in there that's causing it to trigger when there really isn't a mouse. It doesn't happen too often, but then I would bring the sensitivity down a bit. And the other way around, if you find that it isn't grabbing the motion, then you can increase the sensitivity a little bit. I'll show that. It's here. Okay, we're going to show how to set the sensitivity. We're going to go into the YoLink app. I'm going to go into OS Vibration Trap 32. And I'm going to go into the three dots. And here we can see the sensitivity, which is sitting near the middle. If I want to make it more sensitive, in other words, it's not going off very easily. In other words, you might have a weaker trap that doesn't have a very strong spring, something like that, so you need a bit more sensitivity. Be careful not to move this too much, okay? But you can go 6, 7, and 8, so more and more sensitive. And 9 and 10, be really careful going up that high because you could get some false alarms. Again, the same thing, bringing the sensitivity down. If you're bringing the sensitivity down, first look at the reasons why you have to do that. It may be that the trap is a little bit unstable, like on some maybe not flat ground, that sort of thing. If the floor is shaking a little bit when somebody slams a door, depending on the building, say it was in a barn, you may be able to reduce the sensitivity and stop some of those false alarms. So again, what you're going to do is just take the slider and move it down, okay? Again, don't go right to the very bottom unless you absolutely have to, okay? So try and stay with the 5, 4, 3 area, okay? And even down to 2 is pushing it. Try and keep it at the 5, and if you need to increase or decrease your sensitivity, it's a good idea to look at why first. But that's, if you have to, you have to, and definitely the capability is there. And what we'll do once I've got that set, then I'll just click a left arrow in the top left corner. And I'll do that again to come straight back to the main screen. So that there's the linking process. And you found that helpful. If you would like any other products, go to yosmart.com. If you have any other questions or would like to learn more about the TrapEEzEE system, go to TrapEEzEE.com. That's TrapEEzEE.com. We also have a few other videos in a playlist at the end of this if you would like to learn more.